Hello. How's everybody doing? It's always great to be back on TS, the show that tells it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. And as we always say, folks, truth crashed to earth shall rise again. And that's our guiding policy. Make sure that the truth is always dominating. And you know the message you have sent to all the Apostles of Jandam. And this is what I've said, and we'll make sure that we suffocate all your efforts. We shall suffocate you with the truth. So stand by, man. Stand by. And in every day we start this, we don't miss this point, man. What time is it? It's nation time, man. It's nation time. No, folks, listen to this very, very carefully. Something that I find very, very interesting that we are battling with as a nation, you know, every time I say, Charlie, let's make sure that Ghana takes precedence over everything, over party, over tribe, over whatever it is. Nothing is stronger than Ghana. So once we put it in our minds, say Ghana, and they crowd the preeminent things will start. Because do you know something that political partisan nonsense does to Ghana? I'll tell you a quick story. Some time ago I did this story. Quick. It was a joke. It was in a comedy routine. But I want you to listen to it again and help me analyze this thing here. You know, I was saying this, that we have a country that is so partisan, it has affected, unfortunately, the media. And everything comes from a certain angle. It's either you are going to be pro-NDC or pro-MPP or whatever. So your lenses are blinded to what the real facts are. Listen to this story that I said long ago when Jerry Rawlings was in power. I said, imagine Jerry Rawlings was traveling with Nana Kuredu in a speedboat on the sea and the wind blew Nana Kuredu's scarf off, right? So he walks on the sea and goes to retrieve the scarf and brings it to Nana Kuredu. And I was trying to let you understand how we see things by a partisan perspective. So I said, if he does something like this, all the papers that are NDC will have big headlines. Miracle. JJ walks on water. That would be the headlines for the NDC side. And all the papers that are writing for the MPP, they will put day of shame. JJ can't even swim. No, this is for us to think, we see things differently. We look out for the negative so that we dwell on the negative. And it's the same thing. If we reverse it, for example, and let's say it was Kufuor who walked on the water, the MPP people will say, astonishing, Kufuor defies gravity. That's how they will put it. And then the NDP people will say, shame on you, Kufuor imitates Christ. No, look, folks, this is like fun, but it's just to us to think, depending where you stand in there, you see the good or the bad in things. If you criticize somebody that he has walked on water and the only thing you can say, is because he can't swim. Charlie, why am I? Anyway, that's just by the way. You know, I'm saying this, folks, because it is happening now. The appreciation of the Cedi has been spectacular. It has been spectacular, you know, and of course, if it's somebody that is writing from a pro Mahama point of view, say, oh Charlie, Mahama has done spectacular. The Cedi is appreciating, and the other end too says, oh, what? They haven't done FOCO. It's because they are not paying contractors. They haven't done FOCO.
Do you know why the Cedi is stable? The Cedi is stable not because Dr. Forson at the finance ministry is doing anything special. It's because government is not spending. It's because contractors are not being paid. It's because there's no liquid in the circulating in the economy.
That's how partisan reduces us. We can't confront the truth. And like I said in my old story, Ronald Reagan says one time, you can't quarrel with the truth. You can't do. So can we understand that for once, our currency is appreciating? And can we understand for once that every Ghanaian should be happy that the currency is appreciating? Every Ghanaian. Of course, those who are not too happy are those who are coming with plenty dollar to come and change, and then they come here and they realize that the value has gone down. They are not happy, but it's not about them. It's about the country. It's about the businessmen in this country. It's about the amount of savings they are getting for the business that they're doing. That is what it's about, folks. So let's forget all the Jandam and the lies and there's nothing happening. You had a good friend, Kennedy Japan, saying the people of Central University should not be deceived into thinking that this is due to any policy. It's no policy. Listen to him again.
It's temporal. It is not any economic gurus in this country that is causing the cedi to appreciate and the dollar to depreciate. It is the wealth market that they are not demanding the dollars as much as they used to. That is why there's no competition, and supply of dollar is exceeding the demand. As simple as that. These are basic economics principles. So we have to be careful with what we are saying about interest rate and all those things. It's not magic. It is the world economy that is falling apart, and the demand for the dollar has gone down.
You know, and folks, honestly, students of Central University, you are students, and the critical thing for you all is to actually develop critical thinking. So, Central University students, somebody has come and given you a lecture. Once, go and sit down and think, really? There isn't any policy. And then Chalemo invest you. This is where you guys also sit down and do your own research. And then understand that certain things are changing. Folks, this establishment of the Gold Board has done plenty for this country. So many things have been restructured, realigned. Laws have changed. The way of trading in gold in Ghana has changed completely. And whether we like it or not, folks, this has drawn immense benefits to the country. Can you imagine the numbers we're talking about? They say about 5.7 billion in a matter of months. And please, you can actually say this, it's nothing. Can you really say that? Or you're just playing like a day of shame. It's not that the man is walking on water. It's because the man can't swim. Is that what we're trying to do? Folks, is that what we are trying to do? Trying to jandam everything is nothing. Really? I mean, for how many years were we struggling with the cedi depreciating? How many years were we at least attempting to boast that we have arrested the cedi, we have the dollar, we have put it in jail, the IGP has the key, so we are now locking the dollar to stay still?
The cedi has appreciated in value. When we came in, it was running. Essentially, we have arrested it. And the IGP has the key. She's locked it up. We've arrested it.
And the dollar escaped. And me and you know that at one point in our lives here, we were paying 17 cedis to the dollar. And now, all you have to do, $12, I think it's around 11. And all of that, in your policy, it's just that the government is lucky because of Trump's tariffs, because of this, because of that. But we are in the same Africa with countries like Nigeria who tell us and who we know that their naira is still depreciating. So this goes to tell us that it's certain factors that have been put in place that is encouraging this appreciation of the cedi. It's not by chance. So folks, this is what I'm talking about. And the story now is this. Oh, this thing is not sustainable. You watch in a few months' time, the Cedi will lose its power again. It will start depreciating. It's not sustainable. Let me say this, folks. I know that currency volatility is very, very, very something that's very, very dynamic. Currency can be very, very volatile. But I'm saying this. The fact that currency is volatile does not mean that we cannot encourage our finance minister, our bank governor, and the economic team say, Charlie, keep the focus. You know, currency can be volatile, but keep the focus. Do whatever is important to do in the system to keep the appreciation. Don't let it go. You know, because unfortunately, in the partisan system like we have now, I always said that there's always a group of people ruling and rooting that the government should fail. Therefore, if a government fails, it's a chance for them to come back to power and a chance for them to whatever. And that is why we say Yanya nation building. So yeah, people are actually waiting. I swear to God. People are waiting, say, Charlie, let this Cedi start depreciating again. Then we'll show you that we were right. Fine. The Cedi may depreciate. Like I said, the currency's volatility is something that we all know. Even the dollar depreciates sometimes. The pound sometimes than that. Why not the Cedi? Why is the Cedi immune from it? All I'm saying is that even if that should happen, I think if Forcing and the bank will put important structures into place that will control how the volatility operates. Please, trust me. All I'm saying that for now, it is appreciating. And people are beginning to feel the effects. Transport fares are coming down. And trust me, when transport fares comes down, it's going to affect the food prices. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect the parts, spare parts prices. Everything will be affected. So this is what I'm saying, is that this is good news, that we all should hope we maintain this appreciation and even get it better, because it is good news for the whole country. So those in the Jandam division who have their pens and papers and everything ready, and they can't wait to write about how the Cedi is now falling again and jubilate. When those days, that day, all of you wear white and go to church. me now I say, he will sing. Adia, why am I Cedi now? I depreciate no. Me and now I say. There are all sorts of people waiting for that occasion. Why? You know, and our whiz kid, Mr. Bawumia, he's also entered into that whole scheme that this has nothing to do with anything. I mean, that was the Jandam in the beginning, that the appreciation has nothing to do with anything policy that the government is doing. Completely nothing. Really. It's just happening. Right? Listen to him here.
The appreciation of the Cedi that we have seen recently. I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the Cedi, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact.
Yes, Your Excellency, you may be right. Possibly there's no one single policy. Do you know why? Because there are a number of policies. It's a multiple thing that is going on. Even the effects of the gold board alone is multifaceted. You know, all the presentations, the unions on the gold board is and everybody is drawing their benefits. So maybe you're right, there's no one single policy. But the fact is that is a number of policies at work. But I want everybody to know this very, very carefully. The thing is that Enrana is just happening on itself. There's no one policy. No policy. Okay? And I think His Excellency responded to that comment. Let's hear him.
And somebody says, point to one policy that you have implemented to make the Cedi appreciate. And I said, one policy. It's not about one policy. The answer is effective leadership. With effective leadership, we can turn this economy around and create a better life for our people. And that is what I'm committed to make sure that by the time we finish these 4 years, we'll set a standard in government that whichever party or whichever people come into governance cannot reverse the gains that we have made in restoring our people's confidence in our democracy.
Okay. So we're back, and the answer is that, well, he cannot point to a single policy as you're asking, but the only policy he can talk about is that it's true and dynamic leadership. Look, folks, it is leadership that has led to the formation of the gold board. We never had that. And I'm not in any position to sit down here to tell anybody about the gold board and what he does and everything. I think people like Sami Jemfi and other people are much, much, much more qualified to explain to you what is happening and the different levels of operation and how the transformation of the revenue we're getting from gold. Before it was just maybe paying taxes to the government and some royalties has changed. Now 80% of the bulk of money that we derive comes right back to the government of Ghana. Isn't that different? Isn't that something happening? Or is all of this something that just happened? But let me say something, folks. For me, it is not important to quarrel with success. In here, it is not important because check this out. At first, the Jandam was that this thing is just happening. There has been no policy. It is completely luck. It is due to some few important issues in the global factor. Nothing that the government is doing and your policy be a.
Do you know why the Cedi is stable? The Cedi is stable not because Dr. Forson at the finance ministry is doing anything special. It's because government is not spending. It's because contractors are not being paid. It's because there's no liquid in the circulating in the economy.
It's temporal. It is not any economic gurus in this country that is causing the Cedi to appreciate and the dollar to depreciate. It is the wealth market that they are not demanding the dollars as much as they used to. That is why there's no competition and supply of dollar is exceeding the demand. As simple as that. These are basic economics principles.
But they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute. And they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact.
Really? Okay, we're here. We understand. But then we see the narrative is now slowly changing. You know, even those manufacturers of the Jandam are sitting down saying, no, things are improving. The city is appreciating. Inflation is going down. There have been absolutely some cases of deflation. So things are happening. So the Jandam has now changed from nothing is happening to, oh, even when Baumia was there, he was doing gold for oil. And that is why we are now enjoying everything. He started it. Oh, really?
For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. And so that is a big backing for the currency. I mean, they have been in office so far. They've not even increased it by 1 ton. 1 ton, one. Not a single 1 ton. They haven't increased it by. You know, so Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons.
From there's no policy, there's no direction, it's just the global factors, to all of a sudden, oh, no. But started it. Folks, let's be real here. And I won't sit here and argue, yes, the oil for gold had its successes. Who can take away from that? It was a brilliant idea, thank you very much. But I'm saying that idea is not what is in place now. Maybe they are all gold related, fine. But the extent to which the government has gone to establish its gold board makes it dramatically different from the earlier one. But fine, almost at here, let's give him credit. But don't, in order to get the credit, say I'm demeaning everything else. And yeah, we don't rule like that too. Folks, the first time see mine. All we do when we are building a nation is that it's a continuous process. If somebody left it here, take it there. If you come back and it's there, you take it there. And that is how the nation grows. But we're in a nation where when somebody takes it there, they say, oh, I didn't do it, so and then we keep going, spiraling downwards. So folks, I'm saying this, you can't quarrel with success. So can we all focus on the right things so that we can all move forward the right way? And can we stop quarreling with success? This is not working, folks. The streets are talking. The streets are talking. And in the streets, they are happy that they have seen some amount of change because it's been reflected in their pockets. They have. And this is success that you can't quarrel with. And the only success that we want is the success of Ghana. You know, I met a good friend of mine just yesterday at the gym, and he said something very, very interesting. He happens to be watching this program, Nation Time, and he said, KSM, I don't want to mention his name. He says, KSM, I'm so surprised. Nation Time, it means only one thing. Let's build our nation so that anything that we can go abroad to benefit from, we can benefit from in Ghana. On this note, let me welcome Vice President back. She's gone for treatment and she's back in Ghana. And Madam Vice President, welcome back to Ghana. We are glad to know that you are well and you are healing. And something that His Excellency said was this, that it is a reminder for all of us to realize that we should develop our own institutions, medical institutions. He said, he actually mentioned that the UGMC was a dream of Professor Mills, and he was actually hoping to build into a specialist center a medical institution of specialists that will be open to all of Africa when they needed such medical help from specialists. So he said something that, this is an immediate reminder that, Charlie, let's put our things in order so that the next time the president, the vice president, any important person falls sick, they can rush them to Kolebu, rush them to UGMC, and rush them to a hospital here in Ghana.
But I think in all this, it raises the issues of us improving our healthcare so that we can handle emergencies like this. We built a quintillion hospital, which is the UGMC, but it's still not at the stage where it can handle some of these cases. And so it's a call to duty that we should implement it the way Professor Mills had intended it to be, so that in future things like this emergencies like this can be handled, without us having to fly out.
We have brilliant doctors in this country who, if we reorganize our priorities and build this nation, we can build top-notch hospitals with top-notch Ghanaian doctors who can do anything that you have to travel and go and do. We can do right here in Ghana. Dr. Kaba Ridge Hospital, he can do brain surgery. And while he's doing the brain surgery, they are able to use the anesthesia to the extent that it's localized. And so your eyes are wide open. You can even have a conversation with him while he's cutting into your brain. And they do it right here at Ridge Hospital. Sometimes I want to go and interview and say, KSM, maybe let's wait, come next week, because I have clients coming from Liberia, I have clients coming from Nigeria. They come to Ghana, they do Ridge Hospital. He can cut into your brain while having a conversation with you, live, right here in Ghana. So folks, all I'm saying is this, your nation building here, we are just saying, let us build our nation so that people who need to travel to get medical help, they will be not necessary. They will be in Ghana and do it. Sometimes we go to South Africa, sometimes we go to Kenya. I didn't think to meet Ghana. So I'm glad that the president said that the vice president's experience is a reminder that there's work to do here. There is work to do here. And folks, all the works start from one place. That Ghana starts developing, that our currency starts appreciating. And when the currency starts appreciating, the economy becomes more and more stable. When the economy becomes stable, logically, foreign investors and other investors, and even the local investors who are interested in investing in the economy are giving the oomph. And their hands are strengthened. Forget about even foreign investors, so local investors. Ghana, there's money in people's pockets in Ghana. And trust me, if the Ghanaians are convinced that, wow, things are changing, our currency is appreciating, I can now import things at a more intelligent and reasonable price than I was doing when the currency was like skyrocketing, you'll be amazed the business people in Ghana who will want to now invest in this country. I'm not that huge businessman, sir, but I do business. I also have investments in this country. And it is to my interest that my investments will grow and produce so I can hire more people, so I can work more and expand. It is in my interest. But the bottom line is having a currency that has value. For people, what I don't understand is, why are people fighting so hard to say currency value be a... Is that jealousy? Or is that stupidity? For me, everybody today should be happy that the dollar is now at 11 something. I remember some time ago, what's his name? I call everybody my nephew. One of my nephews, Miracle Sabwaji, was on a television interview saying that even at that time, I think the dollar was around 14 or so. And he said, we're even lucky. He actually said that if the government of the day was then under the NDC, he was so sure that the dollar would be around 25. I'm not saying it to, he said it. Listen to him.
Miracles. What do you say now with the dollar at 14.2?
I'm very sure that if in August 4, 2014, the dollar was growing that fast, if the same managers were here today, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cents.
Really?
Yes. If these managers were the ones in charge between 2020 and now, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cents or 30 cents.
Now, fortunately or unfortunately for us, the NDC is in power. The economic team is in power. And it's not at 25, it's at 11 and still sinking. Folks, this is good news for all Ghanaians. Period. This is the beginning of resetting our agenda as a sovereign nation. This is the beginning of us creating the wealth to rebuild this economy. What is wrong with that? Is that a partisan issue or is that a national issue? I don't get it. We're there, and I told a friend of mine, I said, listen, folks, if nation building or if the idea to build a nation is a crime, then let me assure you, I, KSM, I'll be a very proud criminal. Please hear me well. I know these journalists who want to sell money, they can just cut a small part. KSM, I want to be a proud criminal. And hide to sell. No, that's not what I'm saying. I say, if the desire to build this nation, if the desire to make sure that Ghana develops so that I or anybody else don't have to travel to go and get health, if we can build this nation so that people will be coming from abroad because they want to come to Ghana, nation building is my passion. Passion is a crime. Then I, KSM, I will remain a criminal. Folks, that's what we have for you for today. And we'll be back again. We'll be back again looking at issues for both the nation and the continent of Africa. Because you know me, I'm an Nkrumah from a long time. And one thing he said that I'll never forget is this, that our independence is meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa.
Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent.
So I want to make sure that we get to the point where all of Africa is thinking right. But right now, they may focus here Ghana. And in Ghana, I am so happy that I'm starting to see signs that our currency is appreciating. And that is the first step. In any decision to reset the country, the economy must be vibrant. Folks, we're back again, but until we come back again, KSM signing off and saying, as I do every time I'm ending TS, that no matter what, this country shall rise again.